day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ministry of Tourism special interview program, Tourism One-on-One, where we explore topical issues affecting the tourism sector as we tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Kingsley Roberts, your host, and with me today is the Director of Tourism, Mr. Donovan White. Good day, Director.
Hi, Kingsley.
Today we examine the role that the Jamaica Tourist Board has been playing in the COVID-19 recovery effort. So, Director, tell us, what was the reaction like in the travel market when the COVID-19 pandemic first hit Jamaica?
You're taking me back about a year and a couple of weeks. Shock and awe. I think the market was in a bit of a tailspin. February, March last year, as the virus began to spread across the world. In Jamaica, we started our first border closure to country was Italy. When that massive outbreak started in northern Italy, we had to close our borders to Italian travelers. And our partners, Neos, who flies from Italy, stopped flying. And then it was just a cascade from there. It went to Germany, Russia, the Asian markets, and then we just had a full lockdown March 20. Now that was still an unbelievable experience. Never before in 75 years of air travel back and forth to Jamaica has there been a case where our borders, both air and seaports, were completely closed to external traffic. So that was a first and a real jolt, if you will, to all of us in the industry here as well as overseas. But that, I suppose, triggered the creativity within all of us, but particularly at the Tourist Board, we are responsible for the marketing and positioning of Destination Jamaica as a tourism product. And so we had to get on our bikes and get on our bicycles and started to really think what was next or what was to come next.
Okay, so how did you engage your travel partners overseas especially? Just talk to us about it.
Well, we have been on a mandate over the last 3+ years to transition more heavily to our digital media and digital modalities of communication. And so what COVID has actually done is to fast track a lot of those strategies. We had already started a huge transition of our marketing and remarketing away from traditional media and into digital and social. Because sometimes when you say digital, people think you're just talking about Facebook and Instagram. But really, digital is about remarketing. It's about being able to buy ad spaces in various internet platforms that allows you to be served to the consumer on demand. And so we've been extremely active in that space for some time. But during COVID, we really accelerated our activities in the digital space. And then what that forced us to do from a destination perspective is to make and begin to produce a lot more content, because without the content, digital is of no use to you. So we had to begin to really harness the value of destination material. We did things like walk-in tours, or guided tours, virtual tours.
Right. So you prepared all of that type of material
during COVID
for your travel partners
Absolutely.
to assist with,
with the marketing of the destination.
Okay,
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
So what role did JTB play now in terms of the push to develop the protocols?
Right. Well, we were very integral in that. As you know, from the ministry perspective, Tourist Board operates on the act that governs the industry or regulates the industry. And so our responsibility was to ensure that we had full engagement with all our destination partners, the hotels, the attractions, the transportation companies, so that we could together begin to build out and layer across what works and what doesn't. That also worked perfectly because at the time also the minister had assembled the task force chaired by Wilfred Bagaloo from PwC, and his task, along with myself and a few other senior persons within the ministry and the agencies, were tasked with working with him hand in hand on a day-to-day basis to guide the process of developing a set of protocols that were not just Jamaica specific, but that met what was at the time global benchmarks. And I think we successfully did that in record time. We did that in something like less than 8 weeks. And that was really working 8 weeks every single day, building protocols, changing protocols, making calls all over the world, trying to match what people are doing elsewhere and so on. So it was really a global collaborative effort that it ended up that Jamaica was one of the first countries who actually was able to publish and had the distinction of being one of the first, if not the first destination awarded by WTTC with their safe travel stamp. And so that was absolutely a proud moment for Jamaica and for the role that the Tourist Board played along with TPDCO and PwC was phenomenal.
So take us back then. So in the heights of the lockdown,
yep,
you would all have been planning and meeting. So this was all primarily virtual. Talk to us about that.
Primarily, I mean, to be honest with you, personally, I have not missed a day at work yet since the pandemic started. I've been in office every day. The Tourist boardroom was ground zero for the protocols. So I was there every day, myself, Wilfred, a number of staff from the ministry, people like Janelle Ray Bowie, Minister himself, PS, Mr. Dobson, and Dr. Spencer was at the head of the TPDCO at the time. We were all part of that exhaustive experience that was literally day to day, probably running 14, 15 hours a day to get those protocols ready. Because we saw what was going to happen. What was going to happen is that we were going to get to sometime in 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, when we're going to have to begin to open our borders.
Right.
But you can't open your borders unless you have some clear understanding as to how you're going to treat with people coming in.
And you need a framework.
And you needed a framework. You needed to be able to manage not just visitors, but also Jamaicans who are outside of the country coming in as well. So, we out of that, we also, working with the OPM, we also was able to develop the Jam COVID site, which actually preceded the tourism protocols, because we were able to take Jam COVID as a platform within tourism now and refashion it for receiving visitors. So there's a tremendous amount of policy as well as functional work that happened in an 8-week period that allowed for Jamaica to reinsert itself into the global tourism space as a safe, secure, and seamless destination, even in a pandemic.
So talk to us now about the resilience corridors now.
Yeah.
You would have been front and center, JTB essentially, in that process as well.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
First of all, it was an interesting concept that was really conceptualized by Minister Bartlett. He came to the task force, we had a meeting, and he felt that it was, we had to figure out a way to be able to contain our visitors to the country within our tourism space and without them having access to our large population areas. When he said it first, I must tell you, everybody, even himself, we weren't too sure yet what that would be like. So we had to really take it and flesh it through. I think TPDCO took the lead on this one. Dr. Spencer took it. He met with the player with the market, with the partners, But what we discovered in doing the research about it was that the corridor enabled us to use greater than 80% of our tourism asset
Right.
in a place where you had less than 20% of your population living.
Right.
And so once we were able to first create the corridors, but create it on the side of the road that is on the seaside, which is away from where people live, it even made it safer. And so what it did was it gave us an option rather than quarantining persons coming into their hotels. We were able to, if you will, quarantine them within the corridor, within a geographic space, so that they could move about, but they couldn't come out of that space. That then, is an ingenious approach because, and maybe because
this was new. This is Jamaica presenting this concept to the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think it worked specifically for us because so much of our tourism product is on the coast. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to pretty much have a coast that stretches from Negril all the way to Portland, which is a huge span. That's like 5 different parishes. And then later on, we had the other side of the coast, which was the south coast from Negril to Clarendon, or to just about Clarendon, yes, Milk River. So, I mean, that really was, if there was a light bulb moment during COVID and during the replanning of reopening the destination, it would have been the Resilient Corridor.
Okay, great. That brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Director.
Sure.
And thanks to our viewers for joining us for today's program. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. So join us next week when we conclude our discussion on the role that JTB has been playing in the COVID-19 recovery effort. Take care and stay safe.